This video is brought to you by John Robson Guitar Tuition. If you enjoy the content, please consider supporting the channel by enrolling on a course, purchasing some guitar lessons or a t-shirt, or you can join my Patreon. Now, on with the show. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. What you just heard there was me putting this little box of tricks through its paces. This is the BluGuitar Amp 1. Thomas Blug, the session guitar player, this is his signature amp. It's a fully functional 100 watt guitar amp that fits on your pedal board. Obviously you need a speaker cab to hook it up to, and that's exactly what the owner of this amp does. A mate of mine called Craig. You often see him in the comment section below these videos, and he's a regular on the Friday live stream. This is his main gigging amp. He just hooks it up to a Laney 2B12 cabinet, and boom, that's his gigging rig. He's loaned me this. These aren't cheap. These are about £1,000 if you want to buy one. We'll talk about the price later on in the video, but I want to say a massive thank you to Craig for trusting me with what is his main gigging amp. I want to get this review done so I can get it back to him. So before we go any further, let's have a little bit of a look at the features that this lovely little box of tricks has going for it. Okay, as you can see, it's very, very intuitively laid out. It's just like looking at a regular amp, and that's essentially the way you need to think of this. Starting with these rotary controls here, clean volume, and then overdrive section, gain and master volume for that, shared EQ, bass, middle, treble, a very usable reverb there, and a master volume. Foot switches, what they do is this one here toggles between your clean sound, which is a very Fendery clean sound, as we'll hear in a moment, and whatever one of the three overdrive tones you can select via this knob here. There are basically three. There's vintage, classic and modern. For vintage, think Vox, basically think Vox AC30. Classic is more of a plexi sort of tone, and modern is I guess more of a kind of boogie kind of tone. So that's what that foot switch there. Clean, it goes between your very Fendery clean sound and one of the three overdrive sounds you've selected there. This foot switch here, basically what that does is it gives you an extra little boost on whichever sound that you've got selected. Just extra little bit of gain, just something extra to kind of push you over the top top of the mix. And then this one here selects, basically kind of toggles the reverb on and off. So around the side of the amp, you've also got a few extra controls there. You can see that you've got some extra little tweaks, mainly for the boost control, for the boost function. You can dial in the volume and the tone of the boost, basically, and you've got a noise gate there with 3 settings, either off, soft, or metal. Basically, the metal one is very kind of it's a really kind of abrupt cut off to get rid of the hiss and noise associated with kind of metal levels of gain. And a nice little touch there as well, you can switch the effects loop, which is round the back. We're going to have a look at that in a second, between series and parallel. Let's have a look at the back panel here. There's the control, there's the connections there. Input, you got an effects loop there for send and return. As I say, you can either have that in series or parallel. Recording out, which is how I'm recording the amp today, just straight into the interface and into Reaper. Then 8 and 16 ohm speaker outputs, and MIDI output in case you want to kind of MIDI kind of remote, basically, in case you want to hook up extra foot switches and stuff. I'm not entirely sure what that's going to be for, but I'm sure we could find out. But basically, lots and lots of connections and functionality. It's been well thought out, this little piece of kit. So let's hear some sounds. I keep mentioning this clean sound here, this very Fendery clean sound. I use that for the clean strummy chords in the piece you heard at the top of the video, and in isolation, that sounds like this. So a very, very kind of pleasing, I think, very, very Fendery clean tone, I think you'll agree. And what I'll do now is I'll just demonstrate that boost function here. So what I've got set up here is that clean tone, and if I just kind of do a little bit of stuff on this guitar here and put the boost on, you'll hear what sort of thing it does. And when I was recording, I wasn't using the reverb on the amp. I tend to like to add that in the mix. So I'll tell you what, let's have a listen to, as I say, it's a very usable reverb on this. Let's have a listen to it. Lush and warm without being overpowering. It's I'm not usually one for a lot of reverb, but I do kind of quite like that. Anyway, moving on, let's have a listen to the vintage Overdrive sound. I use this for the cleaner kind of lead parts in that little tune that we started off with, and here's what that sounds like in isolation. Again, so I've got that sort of chimey kind of voxy kind of sound. For the intro power chord parts, I was on the classic Overdrive tone, and for me that is just one of my favourite sounds on this little amp. Let's have a listen to that in isolation. And then I used basically two different tones for soloing. For the first solo, I went kind of full on, kind of high gain on the modern overdrive setting with the boost on to give it more of a kind of a I don't know, boogie-ish kind of really, really saturated tone for that first solo. And this is what that sounds like in isolation. And then finally, the solo at the end, which is where I was using the Les Paul. I was using the classic overdrive sound with the boost on, and got, I think, was probably my favourite tone that I've got out of this lovely little piece of kit for this solo. So there you go. That is a quick little rundown of the features that the wonderful Thomas BluGuitar Amp 1 sounds like. I want to say a big thank you to Craig for the loan of this fantastic piece of kit. And I meant to mention earlier actually that solo we opened, or that piece of music that we opened up the video with, there's a full tab as usual in both Guitar Pro and PDF formats, along with the clip of me playing it and a jam track for you to play along with for yourself. All of that is up on my Patreon page. There's the address and the link is in the description. $3 or £2.50 a month gets you access to all of these additional resources that go along with these YouTube videos. A massive thank you to everyone who supports me in that, or any of the other ways, all of which are linked down below. So yes, I think you'll agree, a very versatile and intuitive little box of tricks. Craig loaned me the amp, but he didn't bring me the manual, and you know what, I didn't need it. I didn't at any point feel the need to Google how to get a sound out of this or go and look for a PDF manual online for it. It's just intuitive and easy to use. It is expensive though. Let's address that. You know, I would put this in the same sort of category as things like a Kemper or an Axe Effects or that kind of thing. No, it doesn't have all the functionality of those units, but then again, not everybody needs all of the kind of extra bells and whistles and you know, the kind of effects and everything essentially, and the different way that you can program in patches and presets and stuff. Not everyone needs that. Some people, like me for example, just want some good amp tones and, you know, then just garnish with a few pedals that will go in the effects loop. You know, and when you consider in that sort of context, if you think about how much a Kemper or a Axe Effects or maybe a, you know, kind of Line 6 Helix or something like that costs, then this starts to look a little bit more reasonably priced, especially when you think how much you would have to pay if you wanted a Fender Twin Reverb and a Vox AC30 and a Marshall Plexi and a Boogie Mark 4 or Mark 5 for all of the kind of tones that this does, then and the van to carry them all around in, then this suddenly starts to seem, well, not suddenly, but you know, if you concentrate hard enough, you can kind of make the case that this is value for money. I'm very impressed, as you could probably tell in that little demo piece at the start of the video and when we were looking at the features. I especially like the classic overdrive on there. That is, you know, very much my kind of, it's Marshall, you know, it's a Marshall tone, and that is very much my cup of tea. Would I use the modern sound a lot? No, but I'll probably find a use for it every now and again. And this for me is one of the closest emulations of a Vox tone that I've ever heard. I'm really impressed with this. I love the clean sound on it. There's not a bad sound on it, and I'm seriously thinking about, instead of maybe saving up for an Eastman guitar that I'm desperate to get my hands on, whether I should be kind of saving up for one of these. I'm going to give that a court of thinking. and get back to you on that. But that is my review of the BluGuitar Amp 1. Make of it what you will. Now, the Friday live stream. There is no live stream this week. Well, there is, but it's not on Friday. It's on Christmas Day. I hope you'll come and join me for a beer if you're up and around about 1 p.m. UK time on Christmas Day, because that's when I'm doing the live stream this week. We can have a beer and have a drink and have a natter and talk about swap notes on what Santa may or may not have brought us for the festive period. But that is very much the video for today, folks. Hope you've enjoyed it and found it informative, useful, and perhaps even a little bit entertaining. And if that's the case, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so. Why not drop me a like while you're at it? And I'll just take this opportunity to say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.